it's Natalie at CustomCrafts.com, and I have a really fun and easy home decor project for you today. We will be decorating these letters here with some of our Graphic 45 paper. Graphic 45 is one of our newer paper lines that we carry on our website, CustomCrafts.com, and what's nice about that line of paper is that, well, for one, it's double-sided, so you have a choice of many different patterns and colors, even with just one sheet of paper. You can use it for holiday, or you can use it just to go with your color scheme of your home. So some of the things that you'll be needing for your project today are the paper mache letters. We just bought these at our local craft store, and we've decorated them using the Winter Woodlands cartridge. It's one of our most favorite newer cartridges, and I love it because it's not necessarily holiday oriented. It's more winter. So it's a really nice cartridge to have. We've also used our embossing folders by Provocraft for the Cuttlebug in order to embellish some of the things on our letters. We've got the forest branches as well as the Argyle one. We'll be using those. And then you'll also need just coordinating cardstock for whatever paper that you choose, some ink, and just a few other odds and ends. So let's get started. So the first step in our project is that we got these letters and they were just a craft color. So you will want to coat these with a quick coat of acrylic paint, and that just helps whenever you're gluing the paper onto the front of them. It just helps give the letter a little bit of tooth. So you'll want to do that and just let it dry. And then Karen, who is the designer on this project, she inked all the edges, and you could probably wait until you put the paper on. So in order to get the paper on, all we did was put the letter down and traced around it. So just very, very quick technique and kind of an old school technique, so you're not using your Cricut at all. Okay, so my H is traced there on the paper, and I'm just going to take my little Cricut scissors. I like these. These come in the Cricut toolkit, and I like them a lot because they're so pointy on the end. And when you're cutting out detailed things or things like this, you can really get a nice crisp cut. So I'm just going to cut this out, and then I would repeat the process until all of my letters were covered with paper. And then once you get them cut out, you just put a little bit of Flour Soft or your favorite adhesive on the back of the paper and adhere the paper to the front of the letter just like this, and then you can just run a little bit of ink around the edges just like that. So I'm going to cut out my shapes next for the fronts of my letters, and we're going to be using the Winter Woodlands cartridge. Now you may notice that I've loaded my paper with 4 different colors of cardstock. This actually is going to be one shape, but I'm going to have 2 layers for my little deer with the antlers. So that's what I'm doing here. The first thing that I'm going to cut out in this quadrant are the mittens, and then I'm also going to cut out these little mittens right here. That's what I'm going to cut out. And then I'm also going to be cutting out the berries because I need red cardstock, the berries for the branch. Okay, and for my mittens, I want those at 4 inches. Okay, and then the mittens are on page 49 of your binder, and they are right there, but I think what I'm going to use is the shadow blackout because I'm going to emboss that Argyle texture in there, and I don't want that little, it's like a little snowflake that's cut out. So I'm just going to use the Shift shadow blackout button and then the mittens button, which is right here. I'm going to get the scarf as well, but I'm not going to be using the scarf, so I'm just going to hit cut. Okay, and I hit stop because it's already cut the mittens, and I don't want it to cut the scarf because I don't need the scarf. So I'm going to hit my line return button, which is over here, and that tells me where the next available cutting space is. And I'm going to now cut out my berries, which are on page 38. and they are the shift part of the branch. So I'm going to clear my display and hit the shift button and then my branch button. And it's going to be 4 inches as well. So I don't know that I have enough space. So let's just scroll a little bit this way and slightly up. Okay. So now let's cut the berries. My white paper is next, so I can just scroll down and up. Okay, and then I'm going to be cutting the snow for my branches, and that's my layers button, and then my branch button again. Okay, and then there's my snow. It's at 4 inches, and again, we're cutting the snow at the 4-inch branch size, not the snow at 4 inches in height. So I hit cut. Okay, so let's hit line return. Which is going to take me all the way to the top, but then I want to scroll down. And let's cut out some snowflakes. Okay, and then those are at the beginning of your book. And I am going to cut out the snowflake that's on page 35. So you're going to just cut those out in varying shapes. Your biggest one probably 3 inches. So let's see, which one is that? That one right there. And we want just the snowflake, so layers. And then the snowflake 4. Okay, and we'll just press cut. And then I'm going to cut out a couple more that are anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, just for a layered look. Okay. Then we're going to move down to our brown paper, and we're going to be cutting out our deer, and our deer is on page 55, and we're going to be cutting out the shift deer. It's the one without the little eyelash. There's a little eyelash on this first one. We're going to do the one without the eyelash. So take out the shadow blackout. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, shift, and then the deer button. And we want him to be 4.5. Okay. Make sure your cardstock is nice and secured down, and then hit cut. All right, we've got all of our items cut out now, except for the second layer on our little deer. So you just want to cut out 2 of those, and then you get the 3-dimensional layered effect here, just like Karen did, just like that. So you use little pop dots in between them. But I'm going to show you how to decorate him. You just need to cut out an additional layer. Okay, so let's start with the mittens first. And you can see on this first letter here, we're going to emboss using the Argyle and ink, and then we're going to run this little ribbon or little piece of material through so that it looks like they're tied. Very, very cute. Now there's a little bit of flocking right here, and if you are a flocking person, you can certainly do that, or you can cut out an additional layer and change the color of this, or you could stickle it. There are many different ways to decorate this. So let's get out our Cuttlebug, and I've got my mittens all ready here, and I'm going to be using my Argyle embossing folder. So I only want my mittens to be embossed. I do not want those little sleeves to be embossed. I guess that's what they're called, or cuffs. That's what I want to call.